We begin on CBS as we learn that there are mass layoffs expected as soon as next week. They're in that newsroom. 60 Minutes apparently due for a reboot. Could have told you that a while back. CBS news broadcaster, well, she's the new boss, I should say. I guess she is one of their broadcasters now. Bari Weiss. Bari Weiss is out there making her changes and making her footprint, if you would known. Bari Weiss is, I wouldn't exactly call her conservative, guys, because she actually just, in fairness to her, well, I mean, maybe she's a bit conservative. Anybody's conservative these days, given all that we have seen out of the media. But she is what I would call fair. Okay, so they brought in somebody who's fair. She left the New York Times because, she had the audacity to really be fair. And let's face it, nobody at the New York Times was or is, for that matter, fair, right? Nobody at the New York Times even knew the first thing about fairness. I think she got rid of the fairness and standards person there at CBS. Rightly so. Rightly so. So now she's about to probably get rid of some people at 60 Minutes. And I'm guessing that maybe first on the list is the guy who told off all of his bosses and said, how dare you do this merger, right, with Skydance? And oh my gosh, boo-hoo, I lost my friend Bill Owens, who was the producer who resigned in protest there after they had to say sorry to Donald Trump for re-editing. You admit that guy deserved, whoever edited Kamala Harris's interview, that's what I would call Emmy Award winning for different reasons, all right? But that's talent, right? Making her word salad sound like anything. So they were supposed to apologize. They had to pay this massive fee, and he couldn't stand it, so he resigned. And then Scott Pelley went on the air and said, hey, I'm really unhappy with all this. So that seems kind of interesting to me. Now they're going to, have some reshuffling of the deck. They're going to get Nora, likely, probably in some kind of different position. Maybe she goes over to the evening news since they lost John Dickerson. Maybe she goes over to morning since they're about to lose, the bestie of one Oprah. I mean, how did she get that job anyway? I don't think it was pure talent. Anyway, Gayle King, who has done nothing for the ratings, but apparently cost them a pretty penny. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. She is likely on the chopping block as well, $13 to $15 million a year. I mean, my goodness gracious, right? That's a lot of money for somebody like Gayle King. If you can bring in the ratings, so be it. If you can't, then I think you're going to have a problem. And now you look at 60 Minutes in the hot seat. Star anchors allegedly probably getting the axe. I mean, I don't know if any of them are that expensive, but if they are, they might have something to worry about. And Scott Pelley, I mean, given that you kind of came out and blasted all your bosses live on television, I'm guessing, you may not have a lot of friends in the new management team. Just saying, I mean, hey, you're probably due for retirement anyway, so does it really matter? No, just go retire happily ever after, and we'll remember you well. Anyway, she's sort of the, new young blood, 41 years old, which means she is like a little baby compared to the team at 60 Minutes. I mean, I think Leslie Stahl's around 87, and Leslie Stahl is still, alive and kicking, and she's the one that said to Donald Trump, well, we can't verify any of this stuff that you're saying, on the Hunter Biden laptop. We're told it's just Russian misinformation, and, remember that whole scene when he's fighting with her. I do think that maybe Barry has a little bit of a soft spot for Leslie Stahl, but nonetheless, there's going to be lots of people who are going to see a different sort of portfolio for themselves in the future. Here's like the whole cast. One of the weird things about this network, and I'm telling you, this is a thing of the past, because in this environment today, who are you guys tuning in for? I think it's me, right? And I appreciate it and I love it. And thank you for that. But it's so personality driven. Whereas this old network news style is not driven by personality at all. It's driven entirely by the network. So CBS News says, 60 Minutes says, and it's all about the brand. And look at how small those faces are. When they take a group photo of all their hosts and their anchors, you can barely even see them. I mean, I'm seeing Leslie's legs better than I'm seeing anybody's face in that shot. right? So that's part of the problem. You need to actually have some personality. You need to actually brand your individuals because they're all that matter. The CBS News brand, I'm sorry, been there, done that, right? Like everybody's like, okay, it kind of came and went, and people are tuning into individuals now. It's the individuals that actually even power the networks. I mean, Rachel Maddow, love her, hate her, she's not my type. What can I say? Not my type. Anyway, Rachel Maddow, however, is the brand, right, of MSNBC. So a lot of times people may not even know that they're watching MSNBC. They know that they watch Rachel, or they watch Joe and Mika in the morning, or they watch, well, they used to watch Tucker Carlson right, on Fox, and hopefully me. You know, you can catch me in the commercial break. I know. I was on the Redheaded Stepchild Network, Fox Business Network, on opposite Tucker Carlson at 8 p.m. Lovely timing, right? But anyway, I would say that you tune into Jesse, maybe you tune into Fox. Fox probably has a better shot at being a brand that people love and adore more than the likes of CBS or ABC or NBC. So they're going to redo it. There's some talk that maybe the producer could be out of 60 Minutes, but let's face it, they kind of need her because the other guy, he up and quit, right? And she apparently has acknowledged that they get some challenges there. So good for her. And I think that Bari's willing to give people the time of day. But here it is, per the New York Post, everyone, for what it's worth. Among Weiss's rumored targets, according to insiders, is Scott Pelley. That's not that hard to figure out. Just saying. I mean, given that he was the one that went on television and blasted the fact that his network was trying to do a deal with Skydance. The anchor slammed. They reference it. CBS has then owned Paramount in an on-air tirade this summer for inking a $16 million settlement with President Trump over allegations that 60 Minutes deceptively edited a Kamala. Forgive me, she'd be very offended, right? Remember when we went through the whole thing? It's Kamala. You couldn't say Kamala or Kamala. It's Kamala. Okay, the Kamala Harris interview. Bill Whitaker might be at risk. He's actually a very nice guy. I was a little surprised by this. I don't know how much of it was Bill that did that interviewing. You know, don't forget, you get a lot of producers behind the scenes that may have been involved as well. But he's kind of just sort of, you know, there. Kind of like everybody at CBS. They're just kind of there. Like, they don't really catch your imagination. They don't really spark your interest. They're just there. And they're like furniture, okay? So like Bill Whitaker, he's part of the furniture. Fine. I mean, I think they get a few people with some pizzazz. Sharon Alfonsi happens to be very good. She's from Mississippi originally, and she lives in Texas, so you know she's got to be good, right? There's some personality there somewhere. And they have, you know, a few others, but don't forget, in this kind of medium, you're not allowed to be you. You know, you have to live within the confines of the CBS News 60 Minutes script, or within the confines of the CBS Evening News Minute 10 script. And so that's, again, part of the problem that's, you know, plaguing all of these industries. And what they would be smart to do is make a real push into streaming. And I think that's what Bari's going to try and push for, okay? So she is trying to make sure that they keep their news integrity by being less biased, but simultaneously, I'm just going to say it, do you really want to sit around and watch the very perfectly non-biased news? Maybe you actually want some personality. Maybe the better idea is to bring in the Scott Jennings, who apparently she's looking at, versus say, oh, what's the guy? You know, the one that coined, it's the economy, stupid? Carville. Okay, I want to see Carville versus Jennings. Like, that might actually be entertaining television that we would watch in a streaming version of the CBS property. Now, I know she gets this. And I'm just thinking like a producer here. I crave personality if I'm going to tune in and watch it. And right now, you guys don't have any. I'm sorry, but you know, everybody's trying to be Little Miss Perfect, like Nora O'Donnell, who may actually wind up back in the evening news slot or in the morning slot. Nothing against her, but do we know the real Nora? She's actually like a bubbly, fun person, but that does not come through. It doesn't come through because you get this very formal, prompter-driven, producer-driven shop. And that's all got to change. I would see better things on cable any day of the week than I see on network television. I mean, for goodness sakes, go over to ABC. I mean, David, who reads the teleprompter over there, he's like trying to be the James Bond of news. Again, super nice guy. I actually like him, but I've been disappointed with some of the coverage, shall we just say, of our president. among all of my old news colleagues. But, you know, it's almost like more important what his hair looks like than what the news is. I'm just saying, all right? You know, I don't know what they're going to do. I think they've got an upward battle to fight. And until they kind of figure out that that game has already been played, they're going to continue to struggle.